Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Marcus Speaks. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Marcus Speaks Live. I'm your host, Marcus, and I'm ready to get into a great show today. But first, let me get into some promotions, and then we'll get into all the other good stuff. So, do this first, and then all right, people, look. On Fridays, I do a stream called Marcus Speaks Play, which is a gaming stream. Right now, what I'm playing is Pokemon Legends Arceus. Okay, I'm too old to be playing that game, but it's a cool game. All right, I grew up with Pokemon all my life, so I'm not really worried about what people think. So check me out Friday, 6:30 p.m. ish. Eastern Standard Time. The reason why I say this because sometimes I can never make it on time. So 6:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Make sure you guys check me out, and all that other good stuff. So as well, check me out Saturdays like today. I do Marcus Speaks Live, my podcast show. All right. I love this show because I get to tell you guys all of the good information that's happening out in the world, as well as here in the States. As well, please follow me on both of my YouTube channels. All right, follow me on my first channel, my main channel, my baby, Marcus Speaks. Marcus Speaks. And then my second channel is Marcus Speaks Play, where I only exclusively have gameplay footage. Alright? So check those out. Links are in the description below. As well, when I do my game stream, I am on Twitch as well. I'm thinking about putting the podcast on Twitch, but there's certain things that I show that I believe that Twitch can show, so I'm going to have to work that out somehow. As well, if you have any sort of game recommendation, story recommendation, or a show recommendation, such as something I can do during either the podcast or review a show for like games or something, let me know. All right, let me know. Put it in the live chat, which is right there at the bottom. If you guys can see it, it's there. I just got the banner blocked. Or you can hit me in the comments section if you're watching a replay. Or you can hit me up in my DMs on social media, which you can follow me on Instagram at marcus.speaks.podcast, as well as Facebook, Marcus Speaks, which is my personal page. I also have a group page over there, which I do my game streams on. I could have done this show on there today, which I should. I'll see how that works out. As well as, you can search that by putting it in the Facebook search bar at Marcus Speaks Podcast, or your address bar at www.facebook.com/Marcus Speaks PC. The M in Speaks is capitalized, the M in Marcus is capitalized, the S in Speaks is capitalized, and the PC is capitalized as well. I'm also on Twitter at Marcus Speaks 25, username Marcus Speaks Podcast. So check those links out. If you can, follow me. Do what you gotta do with them. Make me feel good, or whatever. Well, it's not your job to make me feel good, but make me feel as though that you guys give a damn. All right, like this video, share this video as well as subscribe if you're new. Hit that bell icon to all. Drop a comment in the chat, please, if you can. Uh, Continue this conversation with me as I go on, as well as I'm using Restream.com to stream this beautiful show to you that I'm giving to you today. Let me turn this music back on. 1 second. Um, so please hit that up if you can. My socials, subscribe to my channels, so on and so forth. Um, yo, this week has been a great week. For the simple fact that if any of my bosses are watching, I hadn't fell asleep at work this week. Not like a full snore, but like dozed off several times, like I usually do. Um, I remembered what I used to do beforehand, and I started doing it again, and I'm doing it now. So that is, it's making me feel good. So, um, people, I have some funny shit to show you. I'm trying to find it all right now. It's just some things that I've been seeing on the internet. I didn't think I saved one of them, but I hope I did, for the simple fact that this shit is hilarious. I didn't, so man, and I wouldn't know how to search it either. So I'm gonna give you the first one. Let me see if this pops up on screen. Um, let's see. Let me see where it's at on the screen. All right, so 1 second, because I'm seeing like a split over here. So 1 second. All right, better. So let me rewind this back because this shit is hilarious. So here we go. Here's the first thing I saw this week that had me cracking the fuck up. Oh my god! No, I'm not watching this. What the hell's happening?
See, I know times are
Okay, how do I
hard.
turn this on?
Yeah,
I do not want to watch that. Yeah. Sorry. So, I hope I didn't get a flag on that. Hope my damn channel hasn't gotten flagged. So, another thing that I saw. Well, let me play this again because this was hilarious. That shit is hilarious. I don't care who you are. That is hilarious to me. Now, um, uh, hold on. Let me stretch this out. Now, it's another thing that is on my saved list of what I'm gonna go over today. So, as we all know, there is a war going on over in Ukraine, and this is, I don't know if this happened during the whole week that all of this has been happening, or if this is old footage. I'm not sure, but this kind of strikes as disclaimer. You will get triggered, so trigger warning. Check this out. see that? Yo, man, yo, that is some mess going on over there, man. Dog. So, as you guys all know, when I do my show, I basically have points that I go over. And with those points, usually I have I have videos that go along with the points that I'm making. Now, the only reason why I'm doing this is because I have to call fair use because I can get flagged here on YouTube. Let me see if I can bring in another channel. Um, so let's see if that worked. This is, or let me just enter the studio this way. Let me enter the studio. Hit. So I am streaming on my Facebook page. You guys, like, if there's anybody over there, I'm about to share this over there. All right, so if you guys go to the front, it should be sitting right there. So like I was saying, I think my this points, this things that I have to go over. Hold up, I'm getting some feedback somewhere. All right, let's see where I'm getting it at. So it's certain things that I have to go over when I do go live. Jesus. All right. Sorry, this is taking me too damn long to get through. All right, so this is how I'm gonna do it. When I do go live, I have certain points that I make. When I do make those points, I have videos that go along with them. So the reason why that I have to do this is because YouTube can flag my channel. So what I'm doing with these videos is using fair use with them. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, Marcus, what the hell is fair use? Well, it's better for my past self to tell you what it is than for me to tell you now, because I'm just going to forget. So, past self, what is fair use? Hello, everyone. I'm going to tell you about fair use. It's the law. Warning. Now, past self, tell me, what is fair use? Hello, everyone. I'm going to tell you about fair use. It's the law. Warning. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107. Um, there's been a lot of stuff going on with the topic. To be honest, this has been all of the news. it's better if we just get into this instead of wasting time. Basically, you guys don't know what has been going on. It's crazy. We got we got Russia invaded Ukraine and taken certain places. We have this part about the one that they're working on. Belarus has gotten into it in support of Russia. The Ukrainian people are fleeing to Poland, and I guess all of the bordering states here. I'm guessing they're going to Poland. I don't know how to Slovakia, Hungary, and Moldova. So I'm guessing these are all the countries, as well as Romania and places like that, that they're all seeking refuge to. So with that, Russia's getting in getting in Ukraine's ass right now. Like I said last week, it's been a lot of people um who are in they're up in arms with Ukraine. But I said for probably the past couple weeks now, this isn't our fight. And our president, which I will be getting into a little bit later, our president is doing all that he can to protect uh, Ukraine from stuff that is basically is basically inevitable. They're going to be taken over. I know that's not the popular. Uh, I know that's not the popular narrative that's happening right now, but I'm only telling you the truth. Like, it's inevitable that Ukraine will become Russia once more. So I'm sorry to tell whomever is up in arms with this. Now, let's get into it with this very video. This is Biden during the State of the Union address, and in the beginning, he had something to say about this whole debacle that's been going on. So let's get into it.
Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, members of Congress and the Cabinet, Justice of the Supreme Court, my fellow Americans. Last year, COVID-19 kept us apart. This year, we're finally together again. Tonight, we meet as Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, but most importantly, as Americans, with a duty to one another, to America, the American people, the Constitution, and an unwavering resolve that freedom will always triumph over tyranny. 6 days ago, Russia's Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways. But he badly miscalculated. He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over. Instead, he met with a wall of strength he never anticipated or imagined. He met the Ukrainian people.
All the Ukrainian people are fighting back. Like I said last week, Russia did. capitals, uh, certain cities in Ukraine to take over for the simple fact that most of these places were Russia at a certain point. Now, I understand the whole, backing Ukraine, like this whole like people putting Ukrainian flags up and stuff like that is like looking at the LGBTQ movement all over again. Like is like people got it in their bios as if like this is their gender that they're representing now. Like I'm not understanding this. So let's keep going.
From President Zelensky, every Ukrainian, their fearlessness, their courage, their determination literally inspires the world. Groups of citizens blocking tanks with their bodies, everyone from students to retirees to teachers, turned soldiers defending their homeland. And in this struggle, President Zelensky said in his speech to the European Parliament, light will win over darkness. The Ukrainian ambassador to the United States is here tonight, sitting with the First Lady. Let each of us, if you're able to stand, stand and send an unmistakable signal to the world. Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Righteous, strong is his resolve. Yes, we, the United States of America, stand with the Ukrainian people. Throughout our history, we've learned this lesson. When dictators do not pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos. They keep moving. The cost, the threats to America and America to the world keeps rising. That's why the NATO alliance was created to secure peace and stability in Europe after World War II. The United States is a member, along with 29 other nations. It matters. American diplomacy matters. American resolve matters. Putin's latest attack on Ukraine was premeditated and totally unprovoked. He rejected repeated efforts at diplomacy. He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond. He thought he could divide us at home, in this chamber, in this nation. He thought he could divide us in Europe as well. But Putin was wrong. We are ready. We are united, and that's what we did. We stayed united. We prepared extensively and carefully. We spent months building coalitions with other freely loving nations in Europe and the Americas, from America to the Asian and African continents, to confront Putin. Like many of you, I spent countless hours unifying our European allies. We shared with the world in advance what we knew Putin was planning, and precisely how we would try to falsify and justify his aggression.
Yeah, but My sound is off. Yeah, sweet. Alright. How's my sound, people? Testing, testing. Alright, this sounds better now. Yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on. But anyway, let's keep going. Before we do, only thing I asked of you, please like this video, share this video, subscribe if you're new, hit that bell icon to all, and don't be afraid to drop a comment. Everybody who is watching on Facebook, please come over here to YouTube. I believe the link should be in the description, so let me check that first. If not, I'll put it in there. I'm not sure. Let me check. Okay, so I'm oh, wrong place. Let's see. Okay, yeah. If you guys go over to my group page, it is live on my group page. All right. If not, just follow the I have a post says live now, so follow that link over here to YouTube. Okay, so what I need to do is get back to where I was. All right. And like I said, drop a comment. How all this is going. Now, if you guys, like I said, if you guys didn't know, this is what's happening in the world. This Ukraine stuff. Now, Zelensky, Russia steps up attack on Ukraine's biggest cities. Zelensky has claimed that nearly 6,000 Russians have been killed during the first 6 days of Moscow's invasion and warned the Kremlin it will not be able to take control of Ukraine with bombs and air raids. In a video address, the Ukrainian president said a Russian strike in Kiev on Tuesday, which hit a Holocaust memorial complex, provides that for many people in Russia or Kiev is absolutely foreign. They don't know a thing about Kiev, about our history, but they all have orders to erase our history, erase our country, erase us all, he added. Russia has not publicly declared how many of its troops have been killed, and Al Jazeera was unable to independently verify the figures provided by Zelensky. Now, here we go. Russia claims capture of Kherson. And let me do something real fast. Alright. So, okay, you guys cannot hear that. So why can't I hear it? Okay, I see why. All right. So, um, Russia claims capture of Kherson. Russia's defense ministry says the country's armed forces have captured the southern Ukrainian city of Kherson, according to a report by the state-run RIA uh, Nov- Novosti news agency. If the city has fallen, it would be the largest to be captured by Russian forces since Moscow launched its offensive. All right. Um. All right. Cool. You guys can't hear that. Cool. So, uh, people leaving Russia, excuse me, limited to carrying $10,000 as sanctions bite. Now, if you guys don't know, the U.S., Western Europe, uh, who else is in NATO? Basically, NATO and the United States has basically put all of these sanctions. If you guys paid attention the beginning of the week, all you heard was sanction this, sanction that, sanction, 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 sanction. To the point where you had to look up what the hell they were freaking sanctioning. Now, Russian residents are no longer allowed to leave the country with more than the equivalent of 10,000 US dollars, as the Kremlin tries to keep capital inside the country. The rule affects movement of foreign currency to and seems designed to make sure that people attending to leave Russia, as sanctions are slapped on the country, don't take all of their hard currency with them. Long long queues are now common at cash machines that still have banknotes, as people try to withdraw their holdings against the backdrop of a ruble that is rapidly losing most of its value in light of the sanctions. Prices of imported goods are shooting up, and people are trying to purchase some items like new phones before they become unaffordable. Now, we'll be getting into this later, but various countries with these sanctions have allowed various tech companies, and like I said, I'll be getting into this a little bit later. They all have been basically taking away the ability for Russia to, I won't say live, but in a way live, but function basically as a country, because small things such as like phones and food and stuff like that, they they do have some sort of impact or whatever. But like I said, a lot of this stuff I'm going to be getting into later. But this is one of the sanctions that's happened where all, like, any U.S. company that does have dealings over in Russia, they can't do dealings over there right now. The UN, all of the countries that's in the UN, if they have any dealings with Russia, such as Germany, who get their oil imports from Russia, they're like Germany, their gas prices, it's about to go up. Just like our gas prices, which I heard is at like $4 and some cent right now. I can't remember what I paid the last time, but I do know how much did I pay last time I got gas. I think it was like $30 the last time I got gas. But that was before Biden's State of the Union, because that's when I heard when the U.S. gas price shot the hell up. Like right thereafter, after he got off stage, after his hour was done, gas prices shot up somehow. Now, at least 21 killed, 112 wounded in shelling of Kharkiv, Ukrainian official. So, at the at least 21 people have been killed and 112 wounded in shelling in the eastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. In the last 24 hours, regional governor Oleg Sin Sinagrubov has said. Now, if I mess up on any of these names, because I don't know how to pronounce them, that's why. So, the authorities said Russian missile attacks hit the center of Ukrainian's second largest city, which I believe was that video I showed in the beginning, including residential areas and the regional administration buildings. Al Jazeera was unable to independently verify the figures proven. Now, more than 450,000 people have fled to Poland, ministers say. Now, I have more on that at the end. All right. Now, more than 450,000 people have fled to Poland from Ukraine since the Russian invasion started. Deputy Interior Minister uh, Powell Savarnaker, I guess that's how you say it, has said. Powell also told private radio station Radio Z that the number of people entering Poland fell slightly on Tuesday to 98,000 from a record number of more than 100,000 a day earlier. Now, this is when we start getting into companies suspending things and using sanctions and stuff. So here we go. Boeing suspends parts. Here we go with the bullshit. Hey Sarah, whoever you are, I know you're a bot. You gotta go. Sorry, you gotta go. Now, Boeing company says it is suspending parts, maintenance, and technical support for Russian airlines as well as major operations in Moscow. As the conflict continues, our teams are focused on ensuring the safety of our teammates in the region, said a spokesperson for the U.S. Uh, aeroplane manufacturer. And that's just not the only one, but I'll get into that later. World's biggest shipping line halt Russian deliveries. Now, do they not understand that this is war talk right here? By you discontinuing or suspending stuff for the time being, and messing up their whole base of financials, that's war talk. Like what are these? What is NATO and the U.S. thinking when they thought about doing this? Like it's not a good idea. It's really not a good idea. I understand that they had to do this in the support of the Ukrainian people, but this is what they're not thinking about. From what I've heard about this, about why Russia invaded Ukraine, Putin has been planning this for the past 10 years. He was elected into office, I think it was around 2014 or 2017, But that doesn't mean that he didn't have a grand plan before he got in. Now, although that is a problem for many, but you got to look at it like this: all he wants is sovereignty for his country. That's all he wants, and he wants what he believes. What he believes Putin does. Uh, what's rightfully Russia's, which is Ukraine. So th- this is what's happened. So, world's biggest shipping line halts Russian uh, deliveries. Danish shipping giant uh, Marks, Switzerland-based MSC, and France's CMA CGM say that they will no longer take bookings for goods for Russia and will suspend most deliveries. Citing the impact of sanctions, booking to and from Russia will be temporarily suspended, with expectations of foodstuffs, medical, and humanitarian supplies, Mark says in a statement. MSC announced similar measures, saying it would continue to accept and screen bookings for delivery of essential goods. CMA CGM said it was suspending all bookings in the interest of safety. Now, do you guys not think that Putin's like taking mental notes of this? Do you not understand that him looking at this, all these sanctions, he's gonna look at this and be like, okay, if he wants to start World War III, you're giving him the leverage to do so by basically not allowing, from what this says, medicine, humanitarian supplies, and foodstuffs. Basically, food, like food. Do you not understand that this man is taking mental notes, and not only that, he's probably meeting with his constituents, I guess, not constituents, his whoever works for him, uh, to then further his plan. Now, I know U.S. soldiers are tired. They've been in the country, not all, but the morale of the of our soldiers is probably down right now, for the simple fact that they've been in a war on terror for 2 decades, or it was 2 decades. And then there was a bad ending to it, to where frickin' Biden didn't even know what the fuck to do when it came to pulling the soldiers out. It's crazy. Now, if you think it's not getting any worse, here we go. ExxonMobil to withdraw from key Russian oil field. U.S. oil giant ExxonMobil says that it will begin a phased withdrawal from the major oil field it operates in Russia on behalf of the consortium, including Russia, India, and Japanese companies, citing Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. In response to recent events, this is in quotes, we are beginning to process to discontinue operation and developing steps to exit the. I don't even know what this is. I'll just call it the SAC 1 venture, the group said in a statement. So therefore, Germany doesn't get to get gas as well, because that's where Germany buys their gas from, Russia. So whose side now is Germany going to be on, or which I believe uh, Biden sent our reserves, our oil reserves, over to. I want to say Germany, but if it wasn't them, it's somewhere in Ukraine that they got our reserves. Why did they get our reserves? I have no idea. But it gets worse. Everything that I'm going to touch on, it gets worse and worse and worse, and it doesn't look bad at the end of the day. Um, I mean, it looks bad at the end of the day. So, Visa, Mastercard blocks Russian financial institutions. U.S. payment card firms Visa Inc. and Mastercard Inc. have blocked multiple Russian financial institutions from their network, complying with sanctions imposed over Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. So you're not allowing them to use their Visa or Mastercards. That's credit and debit. They're not able to use. Like, y'all let me know if this sounds bad or not, but it's like, what are you doing? Like, really, what are you doing? Our 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 military power really probably couldn't be enough to defeat Russia if we go over there. If we go over there, if we take the fight to them, I don't think our military will win. If they meet in a mutual area, such as, I don't know, let's say, I don't know, Belarus, or what other countries are over there? Um, what we got? We got Belarus, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Poland, which they probably won't take it to Poland, but maybe in these other areas, but not in the Ukrainian Russia area. It won't work. It won't work. Now, it gets worse. Apple pauses all production sales in Russia. Tech giant Apple has announced a halt to all product sales in Russia, adding that last week we stopped all export into our sales channel in the country. The iPhone maker also announced Apple Pay and other services has been limited, while Russian state-owned media RT and Sputnik are no longer available for download outside Russia. We are deeply concerned about the Russian invasion of Ukraine and stand with all of the people who are suffering as a result of the violence, the company statement said. Now, Tim, check this out, Tim. Your the Apple company, and I'm a proponent of Apple. I have an Apple computer, I have an Apple phone. My keyboard, mouse, and trackpad is all Apple. Trying to think what else. I have an Apple Watch. I have Apple AirPods. Like, I'm in the ecosystem. But Tim, you're the the Apple company has trillions of dollars in hard cash. We're not talking assets here. They're worth more than what the country is worth. The Apple company is worth more than the United States itself. you basically run the world, Apple. You could have just been like, although we, that country's in conflict and we stand with them, and I understand y'all don't need the money, but you're not only making the American people look bad, you're making this country look bad as well. Because although I believe it's the law, it's not what I believe is what it is. Yes, you have to follow these sanctions and stuff like that, but you have not buildings, but you have Apple retail stores all around the world. What's the problem? Like, what's happening over there? Man, it's just drop a comment if you can, please. Go ahead and do so right now and get into the conversation. Let me check on the progress over there on Facebook. Yeah, that's not important. Okay, let's keep going. Google blocks RT Sputnik from Play App Store in Europe. Alphabet Inc.'s Google has said it has blocked a mobile. It has blocked mobile apps connected to RT and Sputnik from its Play Store, in line with an earlier move to remove the Russian state publisher from the news related features. A number of tech companies have limited distribution and advertising tools to Russian news outlets in recent days as the European Commission readies a ban on them out of concern that they are spreading misinformation about the war in Ukraine. Are you serious? Like, they're not serious, are they? Let's see. What's this on? Turn this up and turn that down. All right. Twitter to comply with EU sanctions on Russia's state media. Now Twitter's getting in the fray. Like, this is crazy. If you go on Twitter, like, damn near everywhere has these Ukrainian flags. I'm not touching none of this politically. I'm only talking about this. I'm only going to talk about. I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then I'm not talking about this anymore. I have to find something next week to talk about. I don't like this is just getting ridiculous because this is the only thing in the news to talk about. Like, really. So, Twitter will comply with the EU sanction on Russian state-affiliated media RT and Sputnik when the EU order takes effect. The social network has said the European Union sanctions will likely legally require us to withhold certain content in EU member states. A Twitter spokesman said in an emailed statement to Reuters. We intend to comply with the order when it goes into effect. Outside the EU, Twitter would continue to focus on reducing the visibility of content from those outlets as well as labeling it. But how will we know what the hell's happening other than CNN and Fox and stuff being over there? But I pay attention to Daily Mail, Al Jazeera, RT, Fox News sometimes, and that's it really. That's it. So with Fox, I get all of my American news. I pay no mind to CNN. Then Daily Mail, which is articles, and I pay attention to other places as well. Not just Daily Mail, but Daily Mail is one of the places where I go to read news. Um, so you get so as well as RT and Al Jazeera is what I pay attention to, just to get the worldly news. You know what I'm saying? Because these are really only the outlets that you can really pay attention to. That's that actually doesn't give you a narrative look on what's happening in the world. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. Now, this is where things starts getting crazy. Taiwan president to donate salary for Ukraine relief efforts. Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen has said that she, Vice President William Lay, and Premier Su Seng Chen will each donate 1 month's salary to help the humanitarian relief efforts for Ukraine. Now, Taiwan, I don't know if you know this or not, but your parent country of China is backing Russia. So y'all should be chilling the hell out on supporting anything, because this could be your future. And I'm just saying this because it's a possibility that this could also be Taiwan's future as well. After Russia takes over Ukraine, which it's inevitable, like I said, they will take Ukraine over. Who's to say that China won't get the idea of, you know what, we getting sick and tired of Taiwan as well. Let's go ahead and take Taiwan back. Like, it's inevitable, man. Like, it's really inevitable that Ukraine will become part of Russia again. We might even get the USSR again. Now, where am I at? Okay, so the UNGA will censor Russia over Ukrainian invasion. The United Nations General Assembly is set to re reprimand Russia over its invasion over Ukraine and demand that Moscow stop fighting and withdraw its military forces. A move that aims to diplomatically isolate Russia at the world body. You wouldn't want to do that. While UNGA resolutions are non-binding, they carry political weight. The draft text demands that Russian Federation immediately, completely, and unconditionally withdraw all of its military forces from the territory of Ukraine within its international recognized borders. Now, this is something. Oh, what happened to my damn? Okay, never mind. This is what one writer had to say on about this. So it says, UN General Assembly set to vote Wednesday, which was the Wednesday that just passed, on a draft resolution co-sponsored by 90 plus countries, deploring Russia's military offensive against Ukraine and demanding an immediate end to the use of force and a complete withdrawal. Now, it's interesting down here in the comments. It says previous tweet deleted due to incorrect hyperlink. This one gives you the draft in all the 6 UN languages. Now, if you guys want to go and search this, person is Amanda Price. I don't know who she works for, but Amanda Price. Just look for Amanda Price. I guess look for that thumbnail and this right here, and then you should be able to get to her. But one person had to say, "Well, excuse me, I would be curious. When are you setting up talks in the UN for sanctioning U.S., basically the United States, for all their invasions for decades? I'm interested to put it in any agenda." This is one thing people don't talk about. This is one thing people don't talk about is that America invades places. When it's when it when a certain like natural uh when like a natural resource is something that they need, or maybe it's something that they may want, or they want to you know bring democracy somewhere, they go invade. Like, I don't know if the whole reason why they went over there to the Middle East, let's just say the Middle East, the reason why they went over to the Middle East is the reason why they went over there. Some people say for oil. I say, yeah, possibly they did go over there for oil. But what else did they go over there for? Well, from what I know, it was poppy seed fields over there. Well, what do you use for poppy seed fields? Well, poppy seed, well, not poppy seed, but poppy plants, you can make op- opioids out of it, cocaine, such as other, painkillers and stuff like that, heroin and all this other good stuff. it was it said that various soldiers, U.S. soldiers, guarded poppy fields. Why? Why was they guarding poppy fields? Well, check this out. What is U.S. What is the U.S. going through right now domestically? An opioid crisis. Well, is that the reason why they were your military was guarding was guarding these poppy fields? Now, no country, I would say, should have their nose turned at Russia. They shouldn't. Like, it's ridiculous that they're doing it, because a lot of countries have done some fuck shit in their time. A lot of countries. All right. So Biden, U.S. stands with the Ukrainian people. No, the U.S. government stands with the Ukrainian people. It's a lot of U.S. people who don't stand with this Ukraine shit. Because we all see who's the stronger power. Like myself. You guys believe Ukraine is the stronger power? Okay, do what you gotta do. But I see myself personally, and a lot of people other than me see Russia as the superior power. Now, the U.S. president has sharply criticized his Russian counterpart and led a standing ovation for the embattled Ukrainian people in a State of the Union speech, what I just showed you earlier. Let each of us, if you are able to stand and send unmistakable signal to Ukraine into the world, Biden said. The lawmakers stood applauded and roaring, many waving Ukrainian flags while he basically while Putin made gains on the battlefield. He will pay a continuing high price over the long run. Pretty bold words for a man that jibber jabbers in his speeches. Because if you listen to that speech, Biden was mumbling and stumbling. I'm sorry. If you guys love Biden, look, y'all need to figure out a way of how he can how he can somehow not fumble on his speeches. Now, excuse me. Where am I at? So adding that the U.S. is working to seize yachts and apartments of Russian oligarchs, saying, "We're coming for your ill-gotten gains." Now, what the hell was this? What the hell was all that for? So I'm pretty sure basically I guess what he's saying is that they're gonna come over here and get, well, not Russia, but Biden is going to send a force to seize all of these like oligarchs' assets over here. I guess because they are pretty sure they have like yachts and property and stuff like that over here. Um. Okay. Cool. But what happens after that? That's all I want to know. What happens after that? All right, so this next video has nothing to do with what I said, but it's basically Zelensky because I had this flip flop for some reason. But this is Zelensky talking to the yeah, I got this flip flopped. I should so. Matter of fact, yeah, I got this flip flop. So what was supposed to play was the Biden video, but I got this mixed up. So what I should have played was Zelensky first, and then played the Biden video. So what I'll do, I'll play this Zelensky video of him stating what's going on over in Ukraine.
We've hardly slept for 7 nights. Or we sleep, but anxiously. My dears, the time will come when we'll be able to sleep. But it'll be after the war, after the victory, in a peaceful country, as we need.
And just to clarify, that number of 2,000 killed from the Ukrainian officials is just civilians. I want to bring in CNN's Matthew Chance. He is in the Ukrainian capital, and we did just hear again from President Zelensky. And Matthew, is just one part of the remarkable reporting you've done. Yeah. You actually spoke to the president in his bunker.
I did indeed. We were moved to invited to a sort of undisclosed location in the center of Kiev, a specific secret location. We were then taken into a car and driven somewhere else. We didn't know where it was, but still in the center of the city. And then we were sort of herded down through the sandbags and the machine gun posts into the bowels of a huge building in the center of Kiev. And that's where eventually President Zelensky arrived. He mentioned there that he hadn't slept for 7 days, and like many other Ukrainians, feels the same, feeling a lot of stress. But when he appeared, he was, in good spirits, I'd say. But he did look like he was tired. His eyes were bloodshot. He was pale. He was wearing the green sort of military fatigues that have become sort of characteristic of his public appearances over the course of the past week or so, or even longer, since this conflict with Russia has been raging. I spoke to him about a number of issues, but particularly about the refusal of the United States and other NATO countries to impose a no-fly zone. Take a listen to what he said about that, what I said about that, and what his answer was.
The United States has said that it will not enforce a no-fly zone over this country, and it won't put boots on the ground. Do you think it is now time for President Biden and other Western countries to reconsider that? And
no, it's not. Is it? No. This is the Ukraine's problem, and the Ukraine's problem alone. Several NATO countries have sent supplies, has sent weapons and stuff like that. That's all that they need. Now, although that their military is kind of funky, men and women from ages 18 to 60 had to stay and fight. I said that last week or the week before. They had to stay and fight. Now, from what I understand, Zelensky is on the front lines as well. Well, that's not Zelensky. Zelensky right here is on the front lines as well. But from what I see, like all the pictures, it all looks like propaganda. Just like the whole propaganda of the narrative of what they're painting as saying that Ukraine's winning. No, they're not. No, they are not. They're losing, and they're losing drastically. And it's sad. Yes, it is. It's sad, but look, man. This is just something that they have to go through as a country. Will any other country go through this? Maybe. Will the U.S. ever go through something like this? Probably. If England's being petty. But you know what? U.S. y'all used to be a colony. I know we got what's the word? Treaties and all this other things. But you know what? Fuck that. We want y'all back. And we're going to nothing. We're going at nothing to get you guys. Then what happens? What do we go to fight? Does the U.S. show how good their military might is at that point? It's said that we are the greatest military force to have ever been produced. But if you look at certain commercials when it comes to like China or Russia or places like that, all of those military commercials, like for their citizens to enlist, looks way better than ours. Ours is usually stories of an LGBTQ person deciding that they want to go get into the military. So now their story has to be told of why they decided what they decided. And we look weak. We look weak as a country. We look weak as hell as a country. Now, I'll let this continue.
Help you not just with military aid, but with manpower.
I've already turned to some foreign leaders with this request. I believe that leaders must support democratic states of the world who are keen to defend such principles. The powerful issue of closing the airspace helps us tremendously. This does not mean dragging NATO into this war. We spoke many times with President Biden, and I'm thankful for him for these opportunities and support, but they also did not hear me. I've been telling them that Ukraine will fight hardest of all. You will see. But us alone against Russia, we would not be able to do it.
Well, John, at the moment here in Kiev, it is very, very quiet indeed. I mean, there were the big explosions that we had yesterday in which I think 5 people were killed, and we're reporting from that scene now, of course. But it's very, very quiet at the moment, even though we all know that on the outskirts of this city, there are thousands of Russian troops, a huge column of Russian armor sort of making its way to the outskirts in what many people anticipate will be a big assault on the Ukrainian capital. And so, there are still hopes that there could be a diplomatic, kind of outcome to this. There are talks underway. A second round going to be taking place later on today, according to Ukrainian and Russian officials. But there is still that sort of sword, that hammer hanging over this city when it comes to the potential use of, very, hard Russian force.
Matthew, that number.
Sorry. Look, man, it's, and I would say it's sad to see this in my day and age, a country being invaded, of what they say invaded. But we gotta look at it like this. NATO was in talks with Ukraine to join the UN. Russia got hold of that information, which I told you. Putin has been planning this for the past 10 years. Let's just say Putin acted in the nick of time for that not to happen. Because you gotta remember, at a certain point in time, Ukraine took orders from Russia, and then they became their own sovereign nation to where they could make their own decisions as well, for whatever they wanted to do. Now that they were in talks with NATO, it's like, well, Putin didn't want that to happen, so he had to act, and the way he acted was what we're seeing. What we're seeing before our eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like what we're seeing as I'll show you further on what's happening. So let's continue that.
We were just given from the State Emergency Services of 2,000 civilians killed now in Ukraine. I suppose it's not surprising given the scope and the intensity of the Russian attacks, but you can see the price that the Ukrainian people are paying.
All right, so that was that. Get to the next video. All right. So, Biden to condemn Russia invasion of Ukraine as Putin's war. Biden will condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine in strong terms during a State of the Union address later on Tuesday evening, comparing it to World War II, according to the White House. It's nowhere near. Throughout our history, we've learned, this is Biden in quotes. Throughout our history, we've learned this lesson. With dictators do not pay a price for their aggressions. They cause more chaos. They keep moving, and the cost and threats to America and the world keeps rising. Biden will say in his speech. Now, look, check this out, yo. Check this out. The America butts their head into shit all the time. It never fails. They always butt their head in something that normally they don't even have a reason to do it. They just do it to do it. And it's ridiculous sometimes for the simple fact that we could have been minding our own damn business about certain things, but we just had to butt our heads into shit. Now, I will say, most of the time, it was for good. Some of the times, it's like, well, did we really have to do that? I understand being attacked by whomever we were attacked by during 9/11. I understand why we deployed troops as fast as we did. I understand that completely. But the reason why countries look at us so much to help them is because we always are butting our heads into shit. Like, I was talking about that movie Black Hawk Down. I don't know what the policing act was actually called, but we'll just call it Black Hawk Down, right? In Somalia, they basically had no government or whatever. So we went over there to police the situation the best way that we could as a military. But most of our troops got killed while they were over there because, number one, they didn't know who the hell they were fighting. Who they were basically fighting was the Somali people, warlord who basically took over the I forgot what area they were in, but they basically went there to give the people some sort of a peace of mind of their living in Somalia. Now, although Somalia is better now, but during that time, like in when did that happen? Like early 90s or whatever. When that happened. Yeah, it was a war-torn country. It was war torn. But we always hear that some place in Africa is always war torn for some odd reason that they can't come up with an answer for. Is it because we're either interfering with shit or we're causing something to happen? Now, I forgot what the term is called or what the phrasing of it is, but most of the time America causes a problem to then have people look towards them to fix the same problem that they caused. Like, you can look at several incidents in history of shit like that happening, where a country or a kingdom or something like that caused an issue, and then the people looked at them as, well, what do we do? What do we do? Well, that's what happens. Now, Biden says Putin underestimated the powerful response his invasion of Ukraine would elicit from Western nations. Putin's war was premeditated and unprovoked. Biden said in prepared remarks released ahead of his annual State of the Union address. He rejected efforts at diplomacy. He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond, and he thought he could divide divide us here at home. Putin was wrong. We're ready. We were ready, Biden says. Now, U.S. lawmakers urge Biden to shield Ukrainians from deportation. More than 40 members of the U.S. House of Representatives have signed a letter to Biden urging him to uh, designate Ukraine from temporary protection status, which is TPS, which would shield Ukrainian nationals in the U.S. from deportation. The United States has a moral and humanitarian responsibility to support Ukrainians during the ongoing conflict, the legislatures wrote. Now that's good that they're allowing Ukrainian. They're not refugees, but green card members who aren't actual citizens yet to stay. That's a good thing, but what does Putin think of that? What does Putin think of it? Because what we should be thinking of is, what is Putin actually thinking when it comes to this? All these nations acting all at once to isolate Russia out of like the whole fray. Like, I wonder what Putin's thinking when it comes to that. Now, World Bank prepares, like I said, I was going to get to this. World Bank preparing $3 billion aid package for Ukraine. The World Bank says it is preparing a $3 billion aid package for Ukraine, which will include at least $350 million in immediate funds. The first tranche of the aid will be submitted to the Board of Approval this week, followed by $200 million in fast dispersion support for health and education. The World Bank said in a joint statement with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF will consider the country's latest request for emergency financing as early as next week. The heads of the World Bank and the IMF say they are racing to provide billions of dollars of additional funding to Ukraine in coming weeks and months, warning that the war threatened to create significant spillovers to other countries. Hence, Putin's forces rallying all of the refugees, basically. IMF chief Kristalina Georgieva, and World Bank President David Malpass warned the commodity prices were rising, which risked further fueling inflation, and disruptions in financial markets would continue to worsen should the conflict persist. I.e., countries are gonna fucking go broke helping Ukraine out. And the people of these said countries are going to suffer. Which, if you guys aren't paying attention to inflation, gas prices, and lack of goods in stores, if you guys aren't looking at this shit, you should be actually looking at this shit. Like, why aren't you guys looking at this? Food is going up, is getting more pricey, but there's less of a selection, and is less of less of these items being in demand for customers to buy. Then, well, how do we get to stores? Well, we got to get to stores by car or bus or Uber or whatever. Well, these said things cost money. Now, Not everybody has an electric car, and if you ask me, electric cars are a bunch of bullshit in a way, because if I can gas up within three to 5 minutes, but then it takes me 20 to 30 minutes to fucking charge a car, you're losing out. Like, it's no reason to have an electric car. Although it's a renewable source of energy, electric cars are, but you got to look at it like this. You can go miles in a fuel injected car. In an electric car, to me, electric cars are only for the being like going to and fro around town. That's basically, to me, what electric cars are for. Now, I'm pretty sure Teslas allow you to, go miles and miles and miles on a single charge, but you gotta stop at these charging stations to charge your car, which my town just put in 2 more charging stations in my town alone. So we have 3 charging stations, maybe 4 in my town now. They're not at any gas stations yet, but I'm pretty sure that there will be pretty soon. But yeah, we have 2 downtown, and then we have 1 at the library, and I don't know where the other one would be at. Probably like out in the outskirts of town, maybe. Where was I? The leaders said, said they were deeply shocked and saddened by the war, but did not explicitly mention Russia, which, in a shareholder in both institutions, the EU has banned Russian state media outlets RT and Sputnik from broadcasting in the bloc, while banning certain Russian banks from the SWIFT banking messaging system, the EU rotating presidency said. Now, if you guys don't know what SWIFT is, which I don't even know what SWIFT really is, so let's take a gander what SWIFT is. What is SWIFT? Now, I will show you guys, but I want to get the information as quick as possible. So, SWIFT, which stands for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, allows banks to relay information about financial transactions to one another. And they're taking that away from them. That is, personally, what I think. That is an act of war. Why would you do that? What the hell is wrong with these fucking countries, man? They don't fucking understand. They don't understand that this could more than likely lead these countries who's actually acting on this to get into world war, because let's say that this conflict ends, but it's still talked about. Well, no, it doesn't end completely, but it ends in a certain way to where it's still fighting going on, but it's not as big as like a full-scale invasion of what's happening. But then let's say countries of the UN start to infight with each other. Then what? Then what? All right. The moves due to come into force on Wednesday after publishing. No, hold on. Publication in the official journal of the EU come as Brussels intensifies its sanctions regime on Moscow in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, Ukraine refugees stream into Hungary. More than 85,000 people have crossed Ukraine from Ukraine to Hungary since the start of Russia's invasion. Along the 135-kilometer, which is 84 miles for people who don't know, the 135-kilometer frontier, refugees are met with hot tea, locally made sandwiches, and logistical help. Calls to and calls to embassies, free ticket booking, and even entertainment for children. Which brings me to my next point, people. That's all well and good. That's cool. Because they're really not displaying what's actually happening over there. This is what's actually happening. They're turning away African people, mainly students, and other black, not black, but other African people who live in Ukraine. When Ukraine was fleeing, the Ukrainian people, it's a law over there that the Ukrainian people had to go first before any secondary citizen had to, which were these African people. Now, let me play y'all this video real fast, and then I'll get into what I'm about to talk about. So let's. All right, here we go.
The crisis in Ukraine has also exposed the racist tendencies in the Western world. Thousands of students from Africa and Asia are left stranded at the Ukrainian border, but reports of alleged segregation and violence in the Polish-Ukraine border has caused tensions. Nigeria has now hit out the security officials for their treatment towards their citizens and students. The president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, evoked the UN convention. He said that the color of passport or their skin should not make any difference. The Nigerian presidency laid out several instances of reported discrimination by both the Ukrainian as well as the Polish military soldiers. The government cited media reports and videos circulating on social media.
On est là exposé dehors avec le froid qu'il y a ici. On nous donne tout.
I'm not a translator, so I don't know what he's saying. Maybe closed captioning can pick up what he's talking about, maybe. But let's go.
Pas où nous abriter, au fait. On est exposé avec le froid.
The African Union also condemned the human rights violation. In a statement, the union emphasized that Africans are being singled out and called for more empathy, saying that all people should have the same rights, notwithstanding the nationality or racial identity. South Africa's foreign ministry spokesperson said that South African students are also subjected to the harsh treatment. The spokesperson said that South African envoys are ensuring assistance to stranded South Africans. Ghana has also sent its embassy officials to the border points to assist in their evacuations.
Some of my friends are still there and I'm very worried. I text them to know how they're doing, if they have food or water, because right now the stores are closed.
Yeah,
so
and the attacks are getting worse.
Very, very worse. And hopefully they get out of Ukraine safe and no harm comes upon them.
Poland's ambassador to Nigeria dismissed the claims of mistreatment. She said that invalid documents have been accepted and COVID restrictions have been lifted so that equal treatment is meted out to all people.
All right. turn this music up a little bit. All right, testing. Testing. All right, sounds good. Now, Bellini, Mafaro, Guerreri. I don't know. It's an African name. A space engineering student from Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, bing, 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 in Zimbabwe. I'm sorry. Zimbabwe had finally reached the front of the 9-hour queue at Ukraine western border, crossing to Krokoviets after an exhausting 4-day trip. It was her turn to cross, but the border guard pushed her and 4 other African students she was traveling with aside, giving priority to Ukrainians, which is a law. If you guys don't believe it or not, it's a law. Like, it's a law over there in Ukraine that only they could go first and all this other bullshit. It's just ridiculous. It took hours and relentless demands before they were also allowed to go through border control. In quotations, we felt treated like animals, the 19-year-old said in a phone interview with the Warsaw Hotel. What was her name? I call her Mafaro. Mafaro, a freshman at the National Aviation University, fled Kiev hours after Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered troops into Ukraine on February the 24th. When we left Kiev, this is in quotations, we were just trying to survive, she said. We never thought that they would have treated us like that. I thought we were all equal, that we were trying to stand together, Mafaro added. Her story is not isolated, as scores of Africans have reported episodes of abuse and discrimination while trying to cross into Ukraine's neighbors. Since the war started, at least 677,000 refugees have fled from Ukraine to neighboring countries. The United Nations said half of those are currently in Poland. Queues along the border are now tens of kilometers long, with some African students saying they have been waiting for days to cross amid freezing temperatures and with no food, blankets, or shelter. Now, if you guys look, it's a video. It's a woman trying to board a train. She looks like an infant child with her, if not like a 1-year-old child. It's an African lady. She was pushed back, told not to board the train in these frigid temperatures below zero. And the train and all the Ukrainian people basically left in that train while the African people still stood on the platform waiting for refuge for another train to come. But I don't know the severity or the status of that lady and her child. So I'll chalk it up to yes, those people were rescued and they were able to go to a neighboring country. But I feel as though that this is wrong, because the whole country's going through a crisis, not just the fucking Ukrainian people. All of the citizens who work there, who live there, who are there, to go to college, like Mafara was. Like, it's unacceptable. This is unacceptable. But there's no outcry for that. There's no it's no demonizing Ukraine for doing what they did. It's these countries or these companies saying we stand with Ukraine. Fuck that. Fuck that. I say fuck that. Claire Moore, another black student, was pushed down as she tried to board a train at Lilith train station. The guard insisted that the woman could take the train. The officer looked away, Moore said, as she pointed out that she was indeed a woman. I was shocked because I didn't know the extent of the racism. She added. Jan Moss, a volunteer with the Polish aid organization Grupa Zagragnik. I'm not gonna say this shit. Grupa Z, all right, who has been providing assistance at the Polish-Ukrainian border, said while refugees have been welcomed to many crossings out of Ukraine without any form of discrimination, the reception near Madika has been more problematic as refugees were being organized based on racial profiling. Ukrainians and Polish nationals are allowed to pass through the much quicker vehicles lane, while foreigners have to go through the pedestrian 1 or 3 stage process that can last from 14 to 50 hours, Mall said. The Al Jazeera connected Ukrainian border guard service via email over the allegations and segregation at the borders, but had not received a response before publication of this report. In the last 20 years, Ukraine has emerged as a choice destination for African students, especially in medicine-related fields, as it is cheaper compared with universities in the United States and elsewhere in Europe. Videos and tweets under the hashtag African Sin Ukraine have flooded social media, triggering numerous crowdfunding initiatives on Telegram and Instagram to support students at the border and put pressure on respective governments. The African Union reacted to the outcry on Monday. Reports, in quotes, reports that Africans are singled out for unacceptable dissimilar treatment would be shockingly racist and in the breach of international law. It is said. It said in a statement. A spokesperson for South Africa's foreign ministry said on Sunday that a group of its nationals and other Africans were being treated badly at the Polish-Ukrainian border. The Nigerian government also expressed, because mostly I would say it's Nigerian Africans, South African Africans, and as well as like probably Senegal and Congo Africans over, taking classes in Ukraine. Where was I at? Spokesperson for South African Foreign Ministry said on Sunday that the group is national and other Africans were being treated badly at the Polish-Ukrainian border. The Nigerian government also expressed concerns over reports of discriminatory behavior, including a vehicle widely shared on social media showing a Nigerian woman with her young baby, which I just brought up, being forcefully made to give up her seat to another person. It also said that a group of Nigerians had been refused entry into Poland, and allegations dismissed by Poland's ambassador to Nigeria. That is some bullshit that they're trying to tell these governments stuff like that. This is not happening. Yes, it is happening. Like, why are you lying? You can see the shit on video. Like, what are you doing? But some foreigners said they received a warm welcome in neighboring countries such as Moldova and Romania, including a relatively smooth transit. Probably because it wasn't a whole lot of places there. Now, who is this? Here we go. Dallas Wise. Hey, Dallas Wise. Goodbye. Now, I want to get into something important here. Because just in case this war gets hairy, I don't know if the UN or the United States has forgotten, but Russia has nukes. So if we know that Russia has nukes, why are we provoking them? Now, let's get into some stats of Russian nukes. Russia has not yet signed or ratified the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, the TPNW. National position. Russia has consistently voted against an annual UN General Assembly resolution since 2018 that welcomes the adoption of the Treaty of the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons and calls upon all states to sign, ratify, or accede to it at the earliest possible date. Along with other nuclear-armed states, Russia has said that it does not accept any claim that the TPNW contributes to the development of customary international law. It has called on all states that were considered supporting the treaty to reflect seriously on its implications for international peace and security. The Minister for Foreign Affairs of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, said in 2019 that the goal of eliminating nuclear weapons could not be achieved, but the unilateral and rather arrogant methods on which this document, the TPNW, is based. Nuclear weapon program. Russia possesses approximately 6,257 nuclear weapons, which it can launch from missiles, submarines, and aircrafts. In 2000, I don't like this song for this segment. All right, that's better. Okay, submarines and aircrafts. In 2020, Russia spent an estimate U.S. Dollar amount of $8 billion to build and maintain its nuclear forces. The former Soviet Union tested 715 nuclear weapons between 1949 and 1990 at the Palatiniks test site in modern-day Kazakhstan and across modern-day Russia. The TPNW negotiations. Russia did not participate in the negotiations of the Treaty of the TPNW at the United Nations in New York in 2017, and thus did not vote on its adoption. In March 2017, ahead of the commencement of the negotiating conference, Lavrov said efforts to coerce nuclear power to abandon nuclear weapons have intensified significantly recently. It is absolutely clear that the time has not yet come for that. In 2016, Russia voted against the UN General Assembly resolution that established the formal mandate for states to commence negotiations on a legal, binding instrument of prohibit nuclear weapons, leading towards their total elimination. Now, although we know that nuclear weapons are bad, and within a 30 to 50 mile radius, it fucks everything up around it. Once you get nuclear winter, you get radiation out the ass, which can alter wildlife. It can kill wildlife. It can kill people. It can alter people genetically, if not kill them first. You can see Putin's not really worried about that because he's like, fuck it. We've been said, no, we're not giving up any nuclear power just in case we got to use the shit. Like what the hell? Like, what the hell's going on here? Man, what the hell's happening? I don't understand. I don't understand what they're really thinking. The man, well, not the man, but the country itself, basically is saying F you to all countries who wants them to stop using nuclear. No, not stop using, but please, if you could, sign the treaty so you don't not need. What's the correct word I'm looking for? So you can't use these nuclear weapons. And Russia said, you know what, fuck you, we're not doing that. It's kind of like being at a job with somebody. I'm probably this person. I do that sometimes. If when I'm at my job and it's something that I don't feel comfortable with not doing, I'll tell them I'm not doing it. Can't get fired for something that you don't feel comfortable doing. But oh, before this ends, I didn't do this in the beginning, but everybody who is here or and everybody who's watching the replay, I give you a big round of applause. Now, that concludes the Ukrainian thing of everything of what's happening right now. But I want to say something about this before I end this part of the show. It's a good thing that we're not in this whole debacle or whatever. But if Biden thinks that Ukraine needs help, and more help at that, I'd say, sir, don't act. Just try to send aid what you can, because it's really not worth it. Really, it's really not worth it. Like, us as a country stood tall against every act that happened to us, such as England coming in because of us not upholding our end of the treaty that we signed to them and stuff like that, because we wanted to become independent. Look at that the same way of how that's happening in Ukraine. It's the same thing. We went to war with England because of the same issue, which means Russia's going to war with Ukraine for the same damn thing. But this is the thing. It's not looking good for Ukraine. So what we should do as a nation is not act on any of this, not act on any of it. For the simple reason is that they have to stand tall within a moment of their crisis. Because this isn't a crisis for us. It's a crisis for them. Alright? Now, this ends this part of the segment. Well, of this part of the show of Ukraine. And I want to get into a bigger and better issue of what's going on here in the States, and I will basically more so say Black America. The gracious, the most kind of Black people, the most honorable, I would say. Louis Farrakhan gave his last speech until. So, Louis Farrakhan gives his Swan Song, which basically wasn't his Swan Song, it was ours. Okay, Louis Farrakhan's last speech to the people until he comes back from whatever he's, doing. But although he said he is retiring, this happened last week during the Saviours Day, the Saviours Day celebration, which celebrates the teacher of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammed, Master Farad Muhammad. This is the celebration for Master Farad Muhammad, which Louis Farrakhan gives basically a State of the Union of Black America, basically, and what we all should be doing to better ourselves and stuff like that. So, what I want to do, I want to give a quick little snippet of the speech that he gave that day. So, just 1 second. Let me remove some of this stuff off my screen, and I will get to that once it is all off. All right, so here we go with Minister Louis Farrakhan's speech that he gave at Saviours Day last week. Well, part of it.
In my growing up in show business, I always had prostitutes that were my friends. They loved me. And they protected me as a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old who was budding. Old 40-year-old woman came in the club, and I had on a black onyx ring. And after the show, people lined up all around, like they lined up out here. When I was 16, they were lined around the block. And she asked me to sit, and she would, buy me a drink. What do you drink? Oh, I don't drink, but I'll take a ginger ale. See, when you start down that road, anything you compromise of your character, it leads to a greater compromise until you're nothing. If you can't turn wrong down and putting your trust in a higher power to get you what you want without selling your soul, then the enemy has robbed you because you're not connected to the giver of your gift.
All right. Now, y'all may say, well, Marcus, that was a bad clip to pick. But y'all that wasn't listening to what he was saying. All right? So, y'all wasn't listening. So I have an article written by brother, what's his name? Hold on. I want to say it's James Muhammed. Yes, James G. Muhammad wrote this article I'm about to read to you. So I'm done with this. Delete these videos that I got. Alright. Alright, so tens of thousands more heard the message over the internet. He warned black people to clean up their lives to survive the judgment. But also that war is on the horizon that would bring America to her knees. The war started by Russian President Vladimir Putin with Ukraine will spill over into Europe and America will be drawn in. He warned at times reading for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's monumental book, Fall of America, which I have read that book, which I need to buy that book again. America doesn't have a future. Did you think you could kill off millions of Native Americans, take nations out of Africa, and do what America continues to do? That Mexican who once owned much of the West, that she doesn't have to pay for that. The minister asked, "If you don't repent, you can't get extra time. The Swan Song is for you," he said. The 88-year-old national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad warned that America will send soldiers off to war by the tens of thousands, but they will return by the fives of tens, which I keep stating that it's not our fight. Now, I didn't get that just from Minister Louis Farrakhan. This is my own observation of things that I've said last week, this week. I'm pretty sure I covered Ukraine like 2 weeks ago. This isn't our fight. But if we do get into this battle, it's going to be more foolishness for us as a country, for the simple fact is that we're not even freaking like it's not even what we should be even be doing. Giving them aid and stuff like that, okay, cool, but that looks bad on us. Alright? Once America is drawn in, the U.S. government will come to arrest him as they arrest the Honorable Elijah Muhammed to prevent him from speaking out against World War II, he said. Which I will add, with all of this, with all the sanctions happening, but us as a country are still dealing with rising gas prices and all this other craziness that's happening. If we go to war with this dude, what do y'all think is gonna happen? Y'all remember when we still were over in the Middle East? Y'all remember what the prices were then? But do y'all remember once Trump got into office what the gas prices were? Gas was at like $2.27, $2.19. Like, come on now. Like, it has skyrocketed up to like $4.37 or something like that, I believe. Where's my phone? Let me check my gas buddy real fast so I can see how what's the average of gas right now. Let's see. 7-Eleven $3.99 in the state of Maryland. 386, 391 at this gas station that's in my town called Extreme. Rural Farms at $3.95. Wawa $3.95. At Valero $4.05. Those is dick sucking prices. Flying J $3.98. Shell $3.99. Mobile $4.03. Like, are y'all high? Liberty, which only gives not mid-grade. What is it? The first one, 86. 389. Wawa $3.95. Highs Dairy $3.95. Like, come on now. It's in the threes. Reach is the high threes. Reaching for. I only said like two places that was like 405. British Petroleum's almost at $4, which is $3.99, which you can say is basically $4. Flying J, this is in Delaware, 409. And the rest is 409, 411. Sunoco's 411. Another Sunoco station is 419. Are you like, come on now? Like, nah, dog. We not doing this. We not doing this, yo. Yeah, man. Like, this is just getting ridiculous, man. Now, all white power has to end. The kingdom of God has to be established. He said, the life lesson he presented proved him to be a faithful warner, with courage to speak with the truth and filled with love. for his people. Numerous standing I don't even know where the hell I'm at. Numerous standing ovations punctured punctuated the message as the minister, who was seated at the rostrum, which is the podium that he stands at, which he was sitting, rather than standing, reflected on his teachings. His teachers 44 years prior to his departure. He noted that the Honorable Elijah Muhammed too was seated at the rostrum during his last message to the nation. Throughout his 67 years of teaching in the Nation of Islam, Minister Louis Farrakhan has crossed America and traveled the world to take the message of uplift and liberation to oppressed people. He has told unpopular truths that have brought him powerful enemies. During part of his message, the minister reflected on Master Farad Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and begun softly singing the gospel song "I'm Going Up Yonder" to be with my Lord. The audience joined in, and for a brief moment, church was held in the mosque. Since 2020, with the emergence of the COVID-19 V, he has warned against taking the vax designed by pharmaceutical companies, which he called a death plot that stems from a national security memorandum of the U.S. government to reduce the Earth's population by 2 to 3 billion people. Bill and Melinda Gates devised a plan to do that through a vax. He said, before the vax was made, I warned us in the name of Allah that this was a death plot, he said. You've never seen such a masterful public relations effort to get us to take the jab. And this was the minister's words who said this. So, he also spoke about this birth of a savior. Minister Farrakhan said the government never talked to black doctors about comorbidities in the black community, or tell black people about the perils of too much salted or sugary foods. That's why I suggest y'all go on to nationofislam.org, buy the book, well, buy all three of these books. Fall of America and How to Eat to Live, book 1 and 2. So, too much salted and sugary foods, which cause some pre-existing conditions. Instead, they went to black doctors who wrote a letter not to curb obesity or high blood pressure, but to encourage you to take the jab. He said, which y'all don't like Joe Rogan, but I still listen to him. Joe Rogan even said more exercise, eating better, and stuff like that. Like, why is it that you have to get a government to tell you this shit, which they're not, to tell you this shit, but, you know, when somebody like Joe or Minister Farrakhan or myself tell you to eat better and exercise, y'all look at us as if we're crazy and we're trying to lie to you. We're actually trying to save your life. Alright? Now, let's keep going. In quotes, Minister Farrakhan says, you are being betrayed by those who love you, but their love is not deep enough, he said. The minister noted the communities like the Amish never took the vax and developed herd immunity. He told the audience he and his wife, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, contracted the disease in therapies like Iverson and monoclonal antibodies were effective. Suspiciously, there were complaints by many who viewed the broadcast via the internet, which YouTube and various and Facebook and various other places tried to shut him down. But if you guys really wanted to look at this, which I looked at it on nationofislam.org, or they have a app that you can download and you can watch it from there. So I don't understand why, they even I understand why they were trying to, put Minister Farrakhan's message out there because this is his last speech, which after every Saviours Day speech he gives, he usually gives another speech following that, like a curtain call type of speech the following week. So I'm pretty sure, if I'm right, he'll be back tomorrow morning to give his final speech. All right. The platform experienced technical difficulties and blackouts when Minister Farrakhan began to talk about the vaxes. Saviours Day is held annually to celebrate the 1877 birth of Nation of Islam founder Master Farad Muhammad, the great Mahdi of the Muslims and Messiah of the Christian faith. He revealed himself in 1930 to his top student, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammed, in the ghetto community of Black Bottom, Detroit, Michigan. For 3 years and 4 months, he taught his student night and day and gave him the hardest job ever given to a human being on the planet. That job is to raise mentally and spiritually dead black people who were stripped of our humanity, of our own humanity through slavery. Now, when they say dead black people, it's not physically dead; it's mentally dead. All right. Now, you are a generation born from ancestors who came through the roughest of times, who died longing for a generation who would stand tall. Minister Farrakhan explained. We learned prayer the hard way. We came up the roughest side of the mountain, but here we are, the strongest of the strong. Through Messenger Muhammad's teachings, the black man and black woman began to move to a different tune. The drunkard traded in their bottles, and the dope man put down his pipe for a structure that began to teach who black people really are, he said. Elijah Muhammad's mind was on raising you and I up from where the white man put us, Minister Farrakhan said. But you are too comfortable in inequality. We sin like we breathe, we sin and love it. He noted that the enemy talks about Elijah Muhammad's students, but never mentioned the teacher. He reflected on how Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali didn't stay in the class, and how Imam W.D. Muhammad didn't attend the class. Now, this is what I say. This is where I kind of draw the line when it comes to this. And this is how I'm gonna present this sort of thing. I'm gonna say. So, although the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan touts himself as Elijah Muhammad's top student, not true. Minister Farrakhan just continued Elijah Muhammad's work. Now, there's a video that should still be here on YouTube, if not in a documentary. The date of Elijah Muhammad's death, if not a few days later. W.D. Muhammad, which is Warren Dean Muhammad, which is Elijah Muhammad's son, I want to say his oldest son, his eldest son. Elijah Muhammad appointed W.D. Muhammad to take his place. That's when W.D. basically said in his speech, there's going to be a change around with us. We're going to accept anyone who wants to join the organization and stuff like that. So that caused the split within the Nation of Islam. Back then, it was, I guess, Nation of Islam, I guess, and then now with the continuation is the Nation of Islam now. But WD basically said to everyone who was about what he was about, because WD Muhammad basically, when he took his Hajj, he saw what Malcolm saw. He saw white men and other races of people in Mecca, and he was like, and he saw that, he was like, well, looks like the Islamic faith isn't just for black people, it's for everyone. So if I ever take over for my father, then I'll bring everyone in under one roof. So when you see all your excuse me, when you see all of like your Sunni Muslims around, in the country and stuff like that, like your black Sunni Muslims and stuff like that, that is the work of W.D. Muhammad. Now, I think it was 4 years later, 1978, if not a year or two earlier, Louis Farrakhan then gets the fundage to bring back the Nation of Islam. Alright? So then that's when Farrakhan started to continue Elijah Muhammad's work. Because W.D. Muhammad basically looked at his father's work as, I don't want to touch it, I'll leave it where it's at, I'll continue, I'll do my own thing. And then from there, that's when Farrakhan continued Elijah's work in the sense of continuing the Nation of Islam. Although I believe the restaurant still isn't around, it could still be. The grocery store may not still be around. It could be. Not sure, because I don't live in Chicago or Detroit. So as far as that, that's what happened. It's not, whatever he said, which, in a way, people outgrow their teachers. You know what I'm saying? Like, Malcolm saw what he saw, what was going on. He left, created Muslim Incorporated. Ali, he started gaining health issues, so he couldn't attend the mosque as frequently as he wanted to. So, and then Imam W.D. Muhammad, he basically was like, I'm gonna bring Islam that is around the world here in America to us, which was already here, but he wanted to branch it out further. All right. Now, I forgot where the hell I was at. Okay, here we go. It was Minister Farrakhan who picked up that baton, but because powerful members of the Jewish community put pressure on black leaders, some of you love the minister, but you can't come too close. You can't talk about me in certain circles, he said. The enemy of Jesus were Ashkenazis, and there were Gentiles too. But it was the Jews who received so much from God in the way of knowledge, and then they turned away from God and used their knowledge to trick people into sin, he said. I really want Jewish people to hear me, he continued. I want you to understand the prophet of God aren't your enemies. They are your correctors. Don't tell me you are so arrogant that God can't send somebody to correct you. The minister said he was made the name. He has made the name Farrakhan a great, respected name because of he has followed the God who made him. He warned family members and those who have taken on the name that they must be of good character. The devil will use your transgression of the law to disgrace you, but it's really me that he's after, he warned. The Honorable Elijah Muhammed in September 17th, in a September 17th, 1985, yeah. Vision-like experience gave Minister Farrakhan instruction to reveal to then President Ronald Reagan of his Reagan's meeting with the Joint Chiefs of Staff to plan a war against a Muslim nation. After that, there would be one more thing to do before the minister would be allowed to come back and see Elijah Muhammad's face too. Face to face, sorry. As a result, Minister Farrakhan delivered the message during a press conference, and he helped Libyan President Muammar Gaddafi to avoid assassination by the U.S. bombs by warning him of an attack. He also called for a million-man march attended by nearly 2 million men. Since that time, he's been doing everyone more thing I know. I don't know what the hell that means. He said he finally realized that the one more thing is betrayal that leads to crucifixion. I know now who I am, that I'm about to be taken, he said, but don't worry, I have to fulfill what is written. So the third and final piece of this is attempt to sabotage message. Sophia Muhammad from New York felt comfort to see the minister. He was so graceful, and the words he gave us were so timely. It just gave us a lot of comfort in these troubled times, she said. She took notes of the lecture on her phone. What stood out to her was Minister Farrakhan's words that Allah is not a coat you can just put on when it's cold outside. He has to be with us at all times. It's not just when you need him. We always need him, she said. Ryan X from Muhammad Mosque number 60 in Nashville, Tennessee, was excited and amazed at the turnout in the packed audience. Everybody thought the Swan Song was about the minister's going, and he turned it around. He's talking about the Swan Song, singing us a swan song to keep us from dying, giving us life, giving us point to survive. He said. Twitter was ablaze as reactions to the words of Louis Farrakhan poured in. The lengths they they go through to try to silence Minister Farrakhan as well. It's also extremely telling. They're deadly afraid of him and the unity his words bring to our people. That much is clear. Observed Erica Lachey. Mrs. Farrakhan added, the minister talked for almost 5 hours. He gave clear warning, nonetheless, of which is if he could hold on. Nonetheless, of which is if we continue living equality in inequality. Sorry, it will result in our death. We need to get right. Y'all need to clean up this right a little bit. Like, come on now, y'all went to school and college and all that. We also need to get rid of those who refuse to get right. Do what you want, but I'm taking that advice from South Africa. I don't know how to say this name, but it's MasuNgulo, capital N D, lowercase d, LOV1, tweeted. From our time scale in SA, South Africa, basically, the minister spoke around 10 p.m. and continued to 12 a.m. Sadly, I was very sleepy and unfortunately couldn't hear it at all. But I'm thankful for the little that I've heard, because the little faith and love of mine is enough to get it all. To get it all. Peace. Hashtag Farrakhan. At Big Brother T added, I am processing the coordinated effort of at YouTube, at Meta, at Rumble Video. Damn, Rumble's doing this? Wow. And they're supposed to be a free speech site. I guess I won't be going on there then. And whoever stopped access to at NFA Studios to stop us from hearing to stop us from hearing the uninterrupted word from Minister Farrakhan on the popular Clubhouse app. Moderator Mikey Jets, or Mikey Jet $, was hard at work with the minister's message being widely blocked. Mikey Jets and crew refused to be defeated. As soon as one line of audio transmission failed, Mikey Jets and other moderators found another and another and another. As a moderator said, they were working hard to shut him off. He's talking to all melanated people. This man speaks the truth. We all suffer from the same oppression, she said. It was a win. It was a win for hashtag truth and hashtag Farrakhan, and loss for hashtag Satan and hashtag white world power. Elijah Muhammed, Torre Muhammad, and Naba Muhammad contributed to this report by James G. Muhammad. Now, everybody, short show today because ain't nothing going on in the news but Ukraine shit. But everybody, I like this show. I thank y'all for being here with me today. Give y'all a big round of applause. This is my first time covering the minister, so But that's today's show. Like, I ain't got much to really say. So what I'll do, I'll just end the show as usual. So people, if you could, don't forget Fridays at 6:30 p.m. ish. or 6:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I do a game stream called Marcus Speaks Live. I also do on Saturdays, which you're watching right now, my podcast, Marcus Speaks Live, on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't forget, check me out, subscribe to me, like this video, and share this video, please. Alright? The way you can do that, you can go to either or of my YouTube channels. My main channel, Marcus Speaks. Subscribe to that as well. Scroll down, you'll see my second channel right there. Subscribe to that and hit the bell icon to all. As well, you can do the same on my second channel, Marcus Speaks Play. Subscribe to that, scroll down, you'll see Marcus Speaks. Subscribe to that, hit the bell icon to all. Alright. I'm also on Twitch when I do my game streams at Marcus Speaks Play, all one word, all lowercase, I believe. If not, just capitalize the M, the S, and the P. So if you have any sort of game recommendation, let me know. Or if you have a show recommendation, let me know. As well as if you have a show recommendation, or a story recommendation, let me know that as well. You can do that either in the live chat if you're watching live, the comment section if you're watching the replay, or you can hit me up in my DMs on social media, which are, I am on Instagram at marcus.speaks.podcast. Also, I'm on Facebook. My personal page is Marcus Speaks. My group page on Facebook is Marcus Speaks Podcast, where you can find that in the Facebook search engine. Type in Marcus Speaks Podcast, or you can hit your address bar at www.facebook.com/Marcus Speaks PC, which the M in Marcus is capitalized, the S in Speaks is capitalized, and the PC is also capitalized. You can go to search me, do that, you'll be able to find it. So please check all those links out I just named. Subscribe to me. Follow me. Do me a favor when you follow me now. DM me when you follow me and tell me that you just saw the show and just followed me on whatever platform there is, alright? And I'm also on Twitch at Marcus Speaks 25. Username Marcus Speaks Podcast. Alright? Also, like this video, share this video, and subscribe if you are new. Hit the bell icon to all, alright? As well, drop me a comment, either with the replay or with this, if you was live with me, you should have dropped a comment, but you didn't. It's okay. I'm using Restream, not getting paid to say this. I'm using Restream.com to stream to YouTube, but on my game stream day, I stream to both YouTube channels, my Facebook group page, and Twitch. Right? So, like I said, everybody, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for being here, alright? And I thank you again. Please subscribe. Okay, I do this every week. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace out, alright?